Thank you for tuning in to Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Greeno, and today I have joining us a familiar guest, Kurt Bench. You may remember him from other episodes in the past. Kurt, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Kurt's a David Wright collector, so if you've got some David Wright cards, definitely reach out to Kurt, and maybe you guys can work a deal or something. Who knows? But he's a good dude. I like having him on, so thanks again, Kurt, for joining us. Today we're going to be doing an episode of questions. If you're unfamiliar with this segment, it's 3 questions. We talk about them for 5 minutes each. For the standard deviation, about 3 to 5 minutes for miscellaneous dialogue. So let's jump right into it here. Question number one. Outside of being pack filler, what use do base cards still assume?
Uh, well, for me, I'm a set builder, so I kind of need base cards to complete my sets. I do understand that most people today are after the autographs and the relics and the printing plates and all that kind of deal. Um, but I mean, after pack filler, I mean, if the holiday set, I watched your video about the holiday set with the Cole Hamels, the short print.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. So maybe they do have every now and then some chase cards, you know, uh, for people to kind of go after, the rookies and all that kind of deal. But for a set builder like me, it's everything. I love base cards.
Good stuff, man. Yeah, I know that when I was younger, when I first started, it was set building back then, but I never really pursued getting all the rest of the cards. What I liked was opening a box and organizing them, and I never filled the set though. I always got to a point where I was hand collating to a point, and then whatever I got in that box, that's kind of where my progress ended. But I
Yeah,
like the concept of hand collating and organizing the content, and then putting it into a box and labeling the box and archiving the box. I thought that was like a fun pastime for me when I was opening packs when I was younger. Um, these days, it seems like, especially with product breakers, they're running through the base cards and just going for the autos and the hits, and they're throwing the base cards out essentially, or they're donating them,
yeah,
or shipping them out to the people that bought the teams, and who knows what ends up with those. I end up right now donating mine to like children's hospitals and YMCA's and places that are local that can maybe make a use of those, or just stuffing a medium flat rate box full of cards and then shipping them to whoever is willing to pay for the shipping fee. That's another
yeah.
use too. But go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with you. There's some YouTube channel. I can't. It's some guy who has a shop and he does breaks for people, and he flies through these base cards, and it like hurts my heart. And he just
Right.
zooms right through them to get to the autograph or the relic card. Like no care is given. But I mean, I get why he's doing it, but it's like, man, you know, you're missing out on photo variations. They're Topps is trying to do some stuff with, especially this year's 2018 release with short prints and the super short print photo variations. If you look on the back of the card, it has a little
Mhm.
code that you have to pay attention to now. So that's interesting. They're at least trying. Um, but yeah, like you said, um, I don't think many people care anymore, except for those of us like you're the big Frank Thomas collector, and other guys like Nate with Barry Bonds and Ben with Barry Bonds, myself with David Wright. Base cards are kind of everything. So
Sure. I like the variations. I don't specifically seek them out for um, anybody outside of Thomas, obviously, and even Thomas I'm very selective because there's just so much modern out there. But I like knowing that something has it's short printed in some way, a photo variation or some type of parallel color or something. Those can be interesting to pull out of boxes, even if they are somewhat common. So
yeah.
good stuff, man. I'm glad we got to talk on this one. Moving on. Question number two. Given the lackadaisical year-to-year design innovations, what can Topps do to make its triple threads line more exciting?
It's you bring this up. I just the other day was looking online and I saw the 2017 Topps triple threads for David Wright, and I was like, oh, I was comparing it against my checklist, and I was like, I don't remember buying these. And I was looking at my collect. The base cards look exactly the same, same kind of design. And then, of course, the relic cards have the sayings on it. They're the same every year for the most part. So um, I don't know if it would be something for them to maybe do away with the base cards, and because they also have the serial numbered versions of the base cards. I don't know. It's a hard one to. What do you do? It was a cool concept to begin with. Maybe putting, you know, since it's $150 box, let's say, putting, more star players into it, being more accessible. Because I always tell the story. I spent $180 something on a box of triple threads, and I got a Hideo Nomo jersey card and some other junk, that I didn't get $20 back for.
Yeah, this is an
So
interesting conversation because it's kind of goes in two parts, right? The first part being that there's the lack of design innovation from year to year, and Triple Threads is in and of its name sets itself apart from other sets because it offers this type of design. But
yeah,
ever since it came out, it seems like year to year the design changes are so subtle that it's almost like, where's the newness? And the guy like me, I like the base cards in Triple Threads. I actually prefer them over the jersey cards. I just
yeah,
think they're
yeah,
better looking. And I'm sort of biased to cards that don't have relics in them myself. But yeah, the other piece of that is it's the high cost and the low return associated with what you buy when you buy a box. And you were saying like 180. I've seen them for as high as 225, 250.
yeah.
And you get two packs and you might get a booklet card, and not everybody's in love with the booklet cards. Some people love them, but whatever the case is, that you get a booklet card. It may or may not showcase a star player that may or may not sell well, which may or may not give you the return that you would expect for putting the two Benjamins down to get the pack. And so that's kind of an interesting question to think about, and something that I've over the last couple of years have identified as maybe being a slight hiccup in the hobby, in the sense that we spend a lot of money on packs to enjoy ourselves, but if we're in it to make a return, we have to just kind of accept that we're going to come up at a loss more times than not.
Right. I mean, they at least tried. I know a few years ago that's when they started the Unity relics, right? Where if you like put two or three of the cards together, you would see the baseball diamond.
Yeah,
Make, so I mean, they tried, but I mean, again, you know, um, as far as the design goes, I mean, there's there's only so much of a market for people that like relic cards. I mean, how many of us like the little 1 inch? Who wants to pay $180 for the same thing you can get out of a retail box or out of a $60 box of tops? It's the same thing, just because it's 180 point card stock or something makes it better. So I mean, maybe I don't know. Maybe change it to where it's more focused on maybe Hall of Famers, or I don't know. The design, like you said, has been lacking. I mean, it was cool when it first came out in '06. Um, I remember seeing it and being like, I was blown away. Like, man, that's awesome. But then year after year after year, it's like it's the same old stuff. You know?
I guess there's also that question too: is that, like, what else can we do? We've
Yeah.
got plates that are white whales. They're autographed, and they too have patches in them. Those are really cool.
Yeah.
Those can have sticker autos on them. Whatever the case, they're one of ones, which can be can capture a market, especially if they're multiplayer cards.
I just
Um,
bought my first one. So,
what's that? You just bought your first one?
I just got my first white whale. Yeah,
Nice,
it was
nice.
awesome.
And then you've got the booklet cards, which are that's cool. That's the very unique design innovation that came out within the last several years or so. Um,
But that carries over into other sets though. So if it
yeah,
was like Triple Threads thing, then
right.
that would be cool. But
So I mean, that's the other question that I have to consider too. Is like, what else can Topps do to make triple threads more exciting? I mean, what else is there? I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. You had mentioned adding in Hall of Famers, and there have been a lot of products over the years that, as you and I both know, have done that. Guys that have retired, and they're like, you see, you pull a Brooks Robinson or a Duke Snyder or even a Nolan Ryan out of these packs, and they're modern designs. They can be autographed too. But it's kind of an interesting question to think about because Topps is such a dynamic company, and they can do so many different things with their products. So, um, I often wonder, do they are they aware that the market might see that this particular arm of their business is very similar year in and year out? But regardless of whatever the case, it is a nice product, right?
Yeah,
It's a very high end, nice product. But I just would like to see some difference, something else to kind of set itself apart from the previous year's design. So good
sure.
stuff, man. I'm glad we got a chance to talk about that. Um, question 3. It's kind of a long one, so I'm going to kind of go slowly here. Given Photobucket's current model of high volume but low quality on site advertisements and high priced but low value premium services, what, if anything, could the firm do to recapture market share as a leader in image hosting?
Ooh, I mean, I haven't used Photobucket in forever. It feels like. I mean, one of the first kind of image hosting, kind of image hosting or image storing sites that you could have, or I mean, it's hard to say now, right?
It is.
Like you said, if they have a very pricey premium service that has low quality, you know, nobody these days is going to fall for that. You know, nobody wants to pay good money for trash. So, what can they do? I mean, like we kind of discussed this, off camera, but might be a little too late, right? Too little, too late, kind of thing. Uh,
Well, this is something that I think a lot of us have thought at least at some point over the last couple of years, especially a lot of us that spent some time on Photobucket um, at some point in the last 10 or 12 years, I'd say. I used Photobucket very minimally in 2007 and 2008. That was my experience, and I never used it beyond just like one or two events that I was a part of, and I took some photos and I wanted to share them with people part of the event. Like that's kind of where it stopped. But at that time, it was actually quite user friendly. And as time progressed, I realized it became bulky, heavy, a lot of pop up advertising, kind of weighed down my bandwidth and my user experience. UX, it went down to the point where
yeah,
I just moved over to Image Shack. And I used Image Shack's free service for a while, and then I built my own site to host my images, and I was like, I'm done with image hosting. But there are so many other image hosting options now that you know I feel like if there are so many other better options or so many other options that have high or better or more premium UX like better experiences, why would I pay a premium to get what I can get elsewhere for much less, if not free? You know, I mean, and make it easier to share, and not being bogged down with tons of advertisements and slow bandwidth and things like that. So, and to your point, like maybe it's too late. Maybe the market has been captured elsewhere already because of these options. I don't know the answer to this question. What I can say is this: if something's not working and I know it, I try to fix it. And if I'm
yeah,
the owner of the business or the car or whatever it is I'm working on, I make it a point to make that a priority because I want my audience, my customers, to appreciate my product so that it can still accommodate a market need. And I want my
yeah,
product to be that product that can do that. That's a really important. That's my main focus. But I don't. I'm not part of the Photobucket team, so I can't really speak for what their goal is anymore. I don't know what it looks like.
yeah. I mean, who knows? Because I mean, now you have things like Google Drives, and so I mean, who knows? Maybe they're just letting it go, or maybe they just feel, hey, we have this amount of people and we're churning a profit, so something's working. I mean, who really knows what they're thinking?
And that's the point too. Maybe it's on autopilot. It just brings in cash automated every month. That they
Yeah,
maybe the firm has put their focus elsewhere and let Photobucket run on autopilot. But if I were on Photobucket's team, I would try to do anything I can to improve the user experience so I can bring the market back. Like maybe cut down on advertising. Maybe make it so it's user interfaced ads instead of ads by third parties. Maybe have the people that are like on Facebook, that the people that are the members of that platform create their own ads and market them on Photobucket to make the ads more relevant to the users. I mean, these are different things that I would think about if I was on the Photobucket team. What can I do to make the process more relevant to my audience, more exciting, more easy to use?
Yeah.
So good stuff, man. I'm glad we got a chance to talk about it. Do you have any final thoughts?
I just want to say thanks again for having me. I know it's been like a year or so now, but glad to be back. One of my random breaks from the hobby, but I'm back making videos. Thank you for having me. I
Of
really
course.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Kurt Bench. Really appreciate that, bud. Thank you for tuning in to Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Greeno. Thank you again, Kurt, for joining us. And until next time, enjoy collecting. If you like this content, please subscribe. Thank you. Enjoy collecting.